Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor, and today we're going through all of the books currently on my physical TBR, or at least as of December 17th. Before we hop in the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things books, and happy Bookmas Day 8. Now I have pulled all the physical books off of my TBR shelf, and it's a big stack, and I know it's just going to grow after Christmas because I pretty much only asked for books for Christmas. So what you see here is probably going to likely change a lot come the new year, but this is what it stands as of December 17th. I'm going to go through these in no particular order because technically on my shelf they're just organized by height, just to make it look more aesthetic for me. I did at some point have them organized on my TBR by genre, but that went out the door as soon as I needed to, do the best space saving that I could. So I'm not going to talk about two books because of the S&P boycott that are on my shelf over there, but the rest, let's just say there's a lot to get into. So let's go through all these books, and you can let me know which books you would like to see me read and discuss as soon as possible. I'm going to go through these just mainly because they've been sitting on my physical TBR for probably the longest time, and that is these 39 Clues and Infinity Ring books. If you don't know anything about me, my favorite series as a child was the 39 Clues series, and I've read part 1 and part 2. I have yet to start part 3, and I've also picked up the first 3 in the Infinity Ring because I remember liking them as a kid. I just wanted to start rereading them to see how I feel, and I've yet to pick these up as an adult. So someone please leave a video idea where maybe I read like childhood classics, like books that were very popular as a kid that I didn't read as an adult, because I am going to get the Hunger Games that I never read as a kid. So maybe we'll do that, but someone motivate me to pick these up and read these. They're very short books. And if you have like middle graders or like elementary school kids, these are good books that are help like teach history in a sense. Another middle grade book. So I read The School for Good and Evil when I was getting back on my reader journey as an adult, and I really enjoyed it. It just took me forever to get through it, and I bought book 2, and I have never continued. I thought they were going to turn that whole movie series into like a franchise and we were going to get the rest, so I think I was holding off for like movie 2, but I think I just need to go ahead and get motivated to read book 2. So someone else, maybe this will be in that reading like maybe read middle grade for a week. That could be a good video. We'll see. I gotta find reasons to motivate myself. But I did really enjoy the first book. It's just, they get longer as they go. And I don't know how I feel about that. Then we have Business Casual by B.K. Boris, and this is the 4th book in the Love Light Farm series. I binged all 3 books in this series on Kindle at the end of 2022 during the holiday season. And this is the final book that came out this past fall. I just haven't gotten to read in it. I know this one follows Nova and what is his name? Charlie. I knew it started with a C. Nova and Charlie. Charlie is the half-brother of the girl from the first book, and Nova is the sister of the guy from the second book. And they essentially have this casual friends with benefits relationship that becomes more. And I absolutely love B.K. Borison. She is an autobi author, and I want to finish this before her new series kicks off next year. I also heard she might be dipping her toes into another Christmas series, but this time with a little fantasy, like romantasy situation going on. And I'm not going to lie, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Then we have To Have in the Heist by Sarah Desai. I got this book because it was in the thriller section, but it had more of a romance skew to it. I tried this year to see if I might expand some of my genre preferences. I don't know if I exceeded that because I read a lot of romance and fantasy, and this is really just a romantic suspense novel. So we'll find out, but I do love a good heist story, and maybe I'll pick her up sometime in the new year. Then I have these 3 Afterglow novels, which is essentially, I thought it was the new adult version for Harlequin, but I think it's just the new publication under Harlequin romance, maybe just the more diverse take. But they're all short, quick romance reads. I read a few of them. They all have that definite, like, cheesy Harlequin romance vibe. First one up is The Fake Dating Game by Timothy Janowski. It's a queer romance. I love Timothy Janowski as an author, and this is the book that released before his other one this year. Then we have The Frenemy Fix-Up by Yara St. John. I actually think this is the 4th book in a series of interconnected standalones, but I think this is the only one published by Afterglow. So I picked it up without knowing that, so now I'm a little hesitant to read it, but I'm sure it'll be fine, because technically there is the standalone and interconnected standalone. I'm just that person. Then we have Manila Takes Manhattan by Carla de Guzman. This is essentially an actor, actress, singer romance of 2 up-and-coming, artists in the city taking on Manhattan and so forth. I think they're working on the same show. I don't know. But when I want to do a little light romance reading, I'll pick those up. Then I have a couple of fantasies. So this is one of the newer additions to my TBR, and that is Zodiac Rising by Katie Zhao, I think is how you say her last name. I just saw this at the store, read the summary, and thought, great. It's essentially a fantasy with werewolves, vampires, shapeshifters, mortals, etc. It's YA, and apparently they're all related to the Chinese zodiac and such, and it just sounds like a grand old time. So maybe I'll pick that up when I'm like, I don't know, this is the start of a series, and I don't know if I need to be starting any more series, but hey, it's on there. Then we have This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. I do not know if this is a part of a series. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I know it is sapphic and it is vampires. And I'm currently reading a dark vampire story right now called Immortal Dark. And I just didn't really want to pick this one up back to back. So this one either might be saved for spooky season next year, or maybe it'll be saved for my birthday month, because that's usually when I get a lot of reading done. Then lastly, I have one that's been on here for a hot second. The Bones of Ruin. This one kicked off because I know she starts out dead or dying, and that's what intrigued me. It's been on there for a while. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've not been intrigued to pick it up, but when the right moment strikes, I will seek it out. Let's talk about some seasonal holiday reads. So for Halloween season, my Vampire Plus one. This is the 2nd book in an interconnected standalone by Jenna Levine. The first one, which was My Roommate is a Vampire, I absolutely loved last holiday Halloween season. I just did not pick this up in time for Halloween season, but I'm sure it would work also for Valentine's Day season, because they are very cheesy, lighthearted romances. Then I have some Christmas reads that I'm hoping to get done before December's up, and hopefully you'll get to see in the video. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I did get the sprayed edges version. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I probably will be reading it digitally. I did not know that I knew it was a queer romance, but apparently I just didn't pick it up on, it's the Prince of Halloween meets the Prince of Christmas, Christmas one night. They hook up, and then they have to fight each other because their parents are trying to arrange them, or have an arranged marriage, to each of them with the same woman. But all they want is themselves, like each other. So, sounds fun. Sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Then we have Love in Winter Wonderland by Abiola Bello. This is a YA Christmas romance between Trey and Ariel, who are trying to save the Wonderland bookstore after gentrification takes place in their neighborhood, and they're trying to halt that. I'm going to say I'm probably going to end up reading The Nightmare Before Christmas first, just because I have it on Kindle. So hopefully I'll get to this before the end of the year. But that's the goal when I buy these these Christmas romances. I only read them during Christmas time. So I'm hoping to finish those 2 before the month's up. Then I have what I can just consider darker, more miscellaneous fantasy books that I all bought around the same time. Belladonna, Adeline Grace. I've seen this all over the internet. People have been loving it this year. I know it's YA. I know the girl has a situation with death, and I know that she can't die. And I obviously know what Belladonna stands for, and you know what? I'm nothing if not a follower sometimes, and I want to see what the hype is about. Then I have another book that I bought because of the hype, Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. This one, the cover, absolutely fantastic. Second, she wishes herself into her favorite fantasy only to find out that she has become the villain, and so she's like, I'm going to live it up. And that just sounds like an amazing plot. However, I think this is a part of a series, and that sounds like a great standalone idea to me, so I'm curious to see how this develops into a series. If it's not a part of a series, then we'll find out. But yeah, this one just sounds like a grand old time, and I'm nothing if not in love with fantasies with a lot of humor, as long as they have a lot of plot to back it up. Then we have a book that is very controversial that I feel like not a lot of people like, and that is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This is another vampire one. I like to read an Olivia Blake book like every 6 months or so because her writing takes a bit to get through. Because it's very much so like reading what I would assume a classical prose would feel like, which I've read before. It's just a lot to get through. She likes to lay it on. She loves to go heavy on the prose. So I'm just interested to see what little message we're getting out of this. Because, what is it? We've got a vampire and a medium and a bunch of other people coming together to handle a situation. So we'll see how that goes out. This one will probably be put off for a little bit. Speaking of Olivia Blake, I also have her YA novel that is under her real name, which I think is pronounced Alexine Farrell Fulmuth? I'm not sure. But it's called 12th Night, if I haven't said that already. And it's just, I think this is her YA debut. It's between two role players, and that's all I remember. But I also got the Sprayed Edges edition. So, then we have the one thriller on my TBR, I think. Well, one of them is technically a thriller, but it's more romantic suspense. I don't remember this. I just know that I read it at some point and thought it sounded good. And it is a historical, I think something about serial killers or something. And it follows someone in the summer of 77. I also believe there's artwork in here. So I'm just curious to see. This sounds like, if I'm like feeling like maybe some spooky, not maybe spooky vibes, but if I'm feeling like I need something to get my heart racing, this one sounds like a grand old time. It's by Sarah Dojak or Vojak. I don't know if the D or the V is silent. Welcome to Fear City. These last two books are on my TBR for this month. Will I get to them? I don't know because I've still got holiday reads and stuff to make it through. But if I don't get to them now, maybe I'll get to them in the new year. This one is new. It's called Chaos on Flame by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. I read a book by Justina Ireland earlier this year, and I did read some short stories by Tessa earlier this year as well. And I enjoyed them all. So I was like, queer dragons, sign me up. And I think it's only a duology, and the second one's already out. So if I like this one, I can immediately hop in the next one. And then New Adult by Timothy Janowski. This book has been put off. I picked her up in the middle. I've been putting her off because the concept is not my favorite, but I do like him as an author. It is a time travel romance, which, not a fan. It's a 13 going on 30 sort of queer retelling situation. But I started it in the middle of my reading slump, and DNF'd it. Soft DNF'd it, and I keep trying to pick it. I keep meaning to pick it back up, but I haven't. I will read it eventually. It's not one that I'm going to put off. I just gonna say this one. Someone has to remind me, like, you need to read it next year. Maybe this will be a good read for Pride Month read, since it's probably the only Timothy Janowski book that I will make it through without reading anytime soon. So those were all of the books currently on my physical TBR. Let me know which book you like to see me reading first. If you've got any video ideas for the books that you're excited to see come from me, and stay tuned for all the books that get added to my physical TBR following the Christmas holiday, because if they get me everything I asked for, it's going to be a lot. I don't know if my shelf will handle it, but I'll see you in the next Bookmas video.